It's always day one. It's always day one until it's day 99. I promise you. I promise you. It's completely normal to be a little bit nervous. I mean, if you're not used to this type of calls, getting into remote space, you're gonna have similar calls like this. If you've never been into remote space, can you let me know what do you need help with right now? Are you working currently in an offer? What does that look like to you? Because you reached out to me, said that you wanted some help with appointment setting, right? Right, getting a job first. Do you currently have any experience in working in remote sales? Any experience in sales at all? What does that look like? Okay, right. Now before we do anything, um, to get into this remote space, you would at least need to have. No, I'm originally from Greece, but now I live in the UK. So getting into the remote space, I always recommend people have a laptop they can work or a PC, a camera they can work with, and some headphones. Because presentation is the number one thing. It's gonna be almost impossible for you to get into this remote space if you don't have anything at all. So even without experience, right? Especially without experience, you're gonna struggle a lot. So the way that you show up and the way that you present yourself in front of the camera, that's gonna be the first thing that everybody sees without even you talking in the first place. So to get into anything like that, I highly recommend you get a laptop. If you have a laptop or an iPad, you can working with. So you're not working off your phone, you can get into that because especially if you find a role that is more customer facing, so you talking to the customer and then you looking to the customer, that's going to be challenging. Now, if you find a role which is more like a DM setter, so you don't have to show your face and you can just call people, then you don't necessarily need to have, the camera, the laptop. I mean, ideally, you should have a laptop or an iPad that you can working for. Um, yeah, so once you have that, the what I can do is I can send you a YouTube video that I just did the other day on how you can where you can find those high ticket roles, and where most people are and how to optimize the profile. What how you can make sure you can leverage anything that you currently do and get into the high ticket space even without experience. So just to give you a little bit of more context about, even if you don't have any experience at all, how that would look like. It's all about how you show up. It's all about what do you know and how much time are you willing to put towards to anybody working with them. So here's what that would look like. Let's say we are we are having an interview, right? And I'm the interviewer and you just want to land the role and start working for somebody. So the first thing, um that you would normally going through the conversation, asking questions, talk a little bit about yourself. This is one of the questions more people ask. Let me know, give me a little bit of 360 of, who you are, what you've done in sales, what you have achieved. Just be honest, and be honest, right? Honesty is the number one thing. And we all trying to sort of lie and getting to the things, especially when we don't have anything to showcase. But here's the thing. So if you say, "Hey, I understand, Mr. Interviewer, I might not be the best fit for you right now, and but here's what I can do, and I'm gonna work for you for free for a week or two. I'm not gonna even get your appointments that you run ads from or anything like that. I see that you have a I see that you have a Facebook group with a couple of thousand followers on there. So I see that it's not engaging as much. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into that Facebook group. I'm gonna start creating content and engage with the followers that you have, and also do group posts, send them a DM, and I'm gonna generate your appointments so I can book those appointments directly into your setter calendar if they have a setter that they normally send to, or if to your sales to your closers calendar. And you don't even have to pay me for that. I'm gonna do this for a week or two so I can prove it to yourself first that I can do the job and I can show up every day, and then once I've proven myself, then we can negotiate about compensation. We can negotiate about, pay me for this role and then hire me for this position. Are you totally opposed to that? Now here's the thing. If if people are still saying no, then you don't even you shouldn't even spend your time and your energy to talk with individuals that you say, hey, I'm going to do decent job because here's what I'm learning, and here's what things am I applying. And let me tell you something. If you get an interview to begin with, that means you have something, and that means that you have showing something to somebody, and they want to learn a little bit more about that. So if we zoom out, and then what we do is to create leverage from when they come across to us, and then if they like what they see, and then reach out to you and give you the opportunity to land the role, that means even if you don't have the experience, even if you're not the top sales guy, you still got that opportunity to prove them what you say is true. Okay. And in my opinion, if you don't have any sales experience at all, if you know nothing about sales, I'll personally recommend you just spend a little more time understanding the industry, understanding the psychology behind of the communications that it takes for you to even book an appointment, let alone sell something. Okay. And then once you have that understanding of, okay, this is how the marketing is working and why people are booking appointments. This is so if you ask the question over and over again, okay, why people are even booking appointments for this company, what do they do differently, how can I learn from that, what metric are they looking at so they can get more appointments. Okay, so I have now all this information, all that knowledge. How can I put them all together so I can create a 5-minute video talking about me and talking about the information that I have, that maybe some of those business owners they haven't seen or come across to a different way of thinking or getting a different approach as to whether they generate leads, um, generate sales calls, booking, like, converting those sales calls to customers, and how do you keep those customers. So if you have the understanding, if you have the knowledge, you're gonna, even with the knowledge alone, you can leverage that knowledge if presented in a way that people want to explore more of that education that you have, that knowledge that you have, even without having, been, sold millions in whatever industry. Does that make sense? Got it. Now, others, other than the how to find a role, um, that's okay, man. Other than how to find a role, what do you think is the second thing that you need, that in order for you to step into this space, into the high ticket space. What education do you feel that you need before English is not your first language, so it is more comfortable this way right now. Okay. I mean, I totally get it. You have to be able to speak English to a certain degree. If everybody has an accent, at the end of the day, I have an accent. If people are judging you based on your accent, you shouldn't even let that being the concern of, hey, I think, I'm not getting far because I have an accent. And no, don't even try to, persuade yourself that that is the case. So if you if you at least know how to speak English, and to a certain degree there's no language barrier, you can communicate better and have that you know communication, and to create relationships with people in English. That's all it matters. Now, having said that, I don't care about having an accent, where you're from, if you have a strong accent, if you're not, you can practice. And I'm going to give you a tip. Um, you can do certain activities if you have a very strong accent, for people to understand you better when you're talking into a different language. So let's say you are going to put myself as an example. I'm originally from Greece. So when I speak Greek, is so different to when I speak English, right? So because you have learned your whole life on how to speak your native language in a particular way, and now what you're trying to do is adapt the same way of talking and mouth repetitions to a different language. That's why we have an accent, and that's why people sometimes might not understand every single thing that we say. And the way that you can practice on this is, there's two things. So what always do before sales calls, before I even start my day, I always make a warm um a warm tea or warm water with some salt in it, so I can ease my throat. I can make it more, so I don't sound like my accent is not as thick, right? And that way also it can help you with your tonality, the way that you talk. And if you use pauses when you talk, and then you control that, um, the communication that you have verbally, instead of talking fast. So if you're in if in your native language you're talking fast, only applying that skill alone, talking more slowly, and then use the pauses in the between them, it will help you get better, or overcome the people not be able to understand you. um it takes practice. And another thing that I've learned from mentor mine, especially when it comes to communicating better, if you have whether you have an accent or not, is you can do a quick practice every single day. It takes about 5 minutes. So you take your phone, and you record yourself on a video format for 5 minutes, for 3 minutes, even for a minute. And then there's two things that you can do. So the first one is, you can see yourself and lower the voice without any voice on. So you can see yourself, how you sound, how you look like, what's the verbal communicate, the verbal emotions, and all your face emotions are coming off. So when you're watching it, okay? And then you turn your phone upside down, and then you just listen, and then you practice based on you giving yourself feedback of, okay, I need to improve on this. I need to I need to work on this a little bit better. So that way you can become a better communicator. You can be, no matter what your first language is, and in any language um that you want to speak to. Now, where to find those jobs? When you said the second thing, so what I go to is a website that's called repselect.io. So it's a website that you can just join. It's free to get started. You get a couple of daily reminders every single day. There's new opportunities that you can join and apply to. Then you have to complete your and optimize your profile. You have to do all those certain things. I will send you the video training that I did on YouTube specifically on this, so you can see it in practice what it looks like. What are the things that I personally recommend, and I log in on my account so you can see that everything that I say, I can back up with the things that I do as well. And yeah, so you can do that, and it's 100% free. And if you wanna get into the paid version, which is 14.99 dollars a month, then you can do that. You get unlimited job offers every day, so you get about 3 to 5 jobs every single day. And you can also use my code Playbook to get 10% off if you want to do that. That's entirely up to you. Now, the only thing that I one of the things that I actually recommend this website is because it's not my website. I don't have any association with them, but I found to be the best way, at least from everything that I've seen so far, to land and find decent jobs. But even then, there's different criteria what kind of company you should be looking for. So when I going to look for a company, I always want to see a couple of things to see if if that even makes sense for me and if it's worth my time. Because I've been through companies, and there's so many things that happens in the space that if you don't know, you will find out unless somebody tells you, here's what you need to be careful and why. So I'm going to cover a little bit on that as well. So with regards to what things am I looking for in a company? There's a couple of things. So number one is how much money they make. For me to be a good fit, in my opinion, you need to be making at least $50,000 in cash collected, not revenue, but cash collected every month, and they can prove it. So you need to be bold with them. Say, I don't mind working for you, but I want to know if what you're saying is also true. Okay. Now, when you're first starting out, understand you cannot be as picky you know, but at the end of the day, you also have to consider you exposing yourself to an environment, especially on a commission only roles, that is so unstable in terms of the work relationship, because anybody they can just fire you within a week or two. It doesn't matter. So you want to make sure that you're also keeping yourself safe, right? Because this is another thing. And a lot of people I know now, they say, oh, how can I find job? Finding the job is not going to be the issue. Keeping the job is going to be the issue. So this is exactly what I want you to be looking at. So if I was me, at least $50,000 cash collected every month. Um, and we also, because that's going to tell you a couple of things. That's going to tell you that the marketing is not going to be good, the fulfillment side is not going to be good, the product is not going to be good, because if they're not making historically, if they're not making any money, then they don't know what they don't know. And don't get me wrong, I've been a first time founder myself. I know what it takes to run a business and the risks that you have to take. And you have to find what you don't know to start implement and test over and over again. But if you step into this environment, you're gonna be kept accountable to everything that you're gonna do. Not that you're not gonna be kept accountable in the other companies. You will, but you're gonna have so much pressure, especially when you're first starting out in sales and especially in remote sales. You're gonna have so much pressure on you, and if you're not performing quickly, efficiently, and overperforming rather within a week or two, you're a goner. And this is the harsh reality. Nobody tells you. You see all these different videos on YouTube, and everybody says, why you should join the remote space, and here's how much money you can make. And don't get me wrong, you can make a lot of money. You can have a lot of opportunities and growth opportunities to make more and do more and have more responsibilities. Absolutely, that is true. But the harsh reality of things is that not a lot of people make it, and a lot of people fake it at the end of the day. So, would you rather be somebody that can prove your own worth by showcase what you have to what you have done, and you can prove it to somebody, say, hey, here's everything that I've done, and if we're not a good fit for each other, I totally get it, but at least I can prove it to you. Nobody questions results. Nobody questions results, right? The people that questions people is the people that just talk a lot. The people that say, "Hey, I've done X, Y, Z." That's why business owners will ask you for your commission checks. Can you prove it that you what you say is true? And this is real questions that I've personally got out of interviews myself. This is why I do everything that I do publicly now, to prove it, not to just keep myself safe, but also in a worst case scenario, something happens in the future, I have social proof that everything that I do, I can prove it without starting from zero. This is so important. This is so important. I cannot stress this enough, because you're self-employed. You are your own business. If you don't have a second plan, or if you don't have social proof, because think it that way, a business is what people say about the product. Your business is about what you have proved, not just to yourself and to the company, but also to the world. What have you done historically? So then the next employer, the next interviewer, whoever that would look like, can now see what you have, and now say, yeah, I mean, he has, he's doing everything that I wanna have somebody like this in my team. Um, he clearly knows what he's doing. I can see the work. It's not just about, hey, here's how many, I don't know, how many cars I've sold this month, and with no proof. People will ask you for those things. People will care about more about numbers and the KPIs and the results, rather than what you say. And also, that's gonna put you in a whole different level. You're gonna put yourself in a whole different. You're gonna have almost zero competition. You're gonna have almost zero competition, because at the end of the day, you're gonna stand out so much that that people and business owners are gonna remember you for what you have achieved and not who you are. Because everybody kind of can sort of say, "Hey, here's who I am, and why you should pick me, and why, and why me." They hear the same thing over and over and over again from every single candidate. So if you say, "Hey, I'm not even sure that we are a good fit yet," and if you just stay back and say, we might not even a good fit for each other yet," and I get it, but here's what I've done. If you like what you see, and if you like the results that I have, let's have a conversation. And if you just give them those answers straight away from that Loom video you're gonna create, um, that 5 minute video, people say, "Yeah, I want this guy." You know what I mean? So, what other questions do you have on this? Yeah, first impressions last, man. You're only gonna have one chance, one opportunity, and like Eminem says, uh, that's it. That's it. First impressions last, so you make sure that you make it a good one, a bloody good one. So if you can do this, I know it might not be the might not be good from day one. That's absolutely fine. As long as you improve one thing every single day, then you're gonna get more interviews, you're gonna get more offers, and eventually what's gonna happen, you're gonna create so much leverage that people are coming to you instead of you reaching out to them every time. Exactly. Yeah, so with DM setting, as I said, um, you can certainly tap into that. In my opinion, spend a little bit more time on learning the skills and learning the psychology behind that particular area. If you don't know where to learn all this stuff, I want to invite you into the my school community. It's called the Setup Playbook, and then you can go and take learn from me. I share everything in my KPIs and my scripts and everything, so you don't have to look around, see what's out there. You have a bunch of stuff on YouTube for sure. You can go on YouTube. But at the end of the day, I feel like you need somebody to mentor you and coach you and keep you accountable every day, because YouTube is not going to do that. Amazing. Any other questions for me? That's okay, brother. I mean, I totally get it. Sometimes things happen. But hey, you showed up. There were other people that was gonna be here. They say, "Yeah, I'm gonna be here," but you showed up. That matters more than just not having a a microphone or something. So, okay, let's leave it at that. What I'm gonna do, Ashid, is I'm gonna send you a little bit more things so you can go through in your own time. In the meantime, if you need anything or any coaching from me, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm gonna share with you what I do. If not, no problem at all. And yeah, let's catch up again next week. See what kind of progress have you made, and let's fix one thing at a time. And then it's always day one. It's always day one until it's day 99. I promise you. I promise you. So, right, speak soon and have a good day, man. Take care.